Hello, friends, and welcome back. Today we are taking a look at the Age of the Primes Armada Sideways. And yeah, I can say it again, once again, I can go back to saying this is one I've been really excited about. But let's take a look at the packaging here. We have some nice artwork there of Sideways going down the side. Typical Age of the Primes. That same piece of artwork right there. There, back of the box. Shows everything in the box. Are you surprised? And then, of course, we get that Age of the Primes, part of the statues of the Primes. So I was never really a big fan of Armada. I'm not going to lie about that. I thought the show was okay. Wasn't great. I think a lot of the Autobot toys were trash. They suffered heavily for their gimmicks, but the Decepticon toys were pretty good. But I'm very happy to see that it's finally getting a lot of love and we're getting a lot of new Armada things. And by removing the gimmicks from the Autobot figures and modernizing them, we're getting really good figures out of them. And, Armada was a new G1 for a lot of Transformers fans and, revitalized the brand. So it's great that it's getting love, and I'm happy to see it. Anyway, before we look at this guy, let's look at this guy. So here is our Mirror. I don't know why I said that weird like that. But yeah, Mirror is his two Minicon buddies combined together. I wouldn't necessarily call it a big upgrade from the original, but it is missing the arms sticking off the side, which we'll touch on that in a minute. And a nice silver for the head. Decent detailing, a little bit of red right there. Got the same backpack as the original. He does have some articulation, so the shoulders and the elbows are on ball joints, so you can get a full range of motion there, as are the hips and the knees. So same thing, full range of motion there. And the feet are on little swivel joints. And if you do want to, you can unfold that little back piece, and that will give him a waist swivel. And for comparison, here he is with Jolt. And another Minicon from some recent something or other. Yeah, I know. What are you going to do? Now, in order to accomplish making this guy look the way he does, the individual Minicons now parts form. So they have a separate piece of arms here. For the gray one, and a pair of pants for the black one. So you just pull these guys apart, much like the originals. Only on the originals, they connected together at the heads. And here, this guy connects at the waist, and this guy connects at the head. But for this guy, you're going to take this post right here that's coming off of his chest and flip that back. Trying to get this to focus. But anyway, yeah, you just flip that post up, revealing a pair of eyes, and plug on the pants, just like so. And there you have this dude. And then on the gray one, you're just going to rotate the feet around here at the knees, flip this down, and then take the arms and slide them into place. And there you have the two individual Minicons. And yeah, they're at this point, because there's no articulation here in the arms or the legs on this guy, they're basically slug figures at this point. They do have, it's really, really kind of hard to see, but they do have little painted eyes in there. A little easier to see on this guy. Now, one other little fun hidden feature here with the pants and the arms is that they do, in fact, fit together. And you can make another little dude. Yeah. And I unironically love this. Obviously, there's no sculpted detail on the peg head there, but yeah, it's just another little Minicon dude. We need to give this guy a name. So if you got a name for this guy, put it in the comments below. Preferably wrong answers only. Now, moving on to Sideways himself. There is some assembly required. So he does come with the missiles packaged loose. As you can see, they are unfortunately hollow on one side. I mean, it's kind of par for the course. And then, of course, he gets his wheels packaged separately. So the wheels just post on to the back right in here. Now on mine, this came with this piece rotated around this way. You can see how this has little notches cut out here. But to put the wheels on in the right orientation, this does need to be rotated the other way. So that's something to look out for if you're having issues on your copy. But anyway, this one will post in right here on this side. And then this one right here, I already had it locked into place, but this will be loose in the package. And you want to tilt this up until it locks in that little tab and groove right there. Boom. And then just post that into the back right there. And then, of course, for the missiles, you can, of course, hold them in his hand as little beaten sticks. If you want to pop, 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 you can do that. Or do it like the original toy and plug those into the sides of his arms with these great big pads right there. And there is our completed Armada Sideways. And yeah, he looks really, really good. So right up front, that head sculpt is really nice. On the original toy, this was basically just a post with some paint and sculpted detail on it. But yeah, the handlebars for the ears there. Oh, that came undone. They got a nice little Autobot logo tampoed right there onto the windshield. We'll come back to that in a minute. Sort of metallic, and the shine is not really showing up on camera, but this is a metallic yellowish gold. There. Some very interesting feet. Nice silver right there on the arms. And of course, we saw the back. There's really nothing to write home up back here. A couple of little hollow bits on the inside of the legs. Not too bad as far as the hollowing is concerned, but not the best either. So yeah, these feet, these great big flat panels of feet, which I will give them credit for. It is in fact foot shaped, with like one big toe sticking out. But it is in fact foot shaped. But yeah, it's just a flat panel for the feet. Now, articulation, the head is on a ball joint. You get a nice range of movement around there. Antlers are going to hit the wheels back here, but these are also posable. They swivel for transformation. And now we have universal joints here for the shoulders, so you can get out about that far, get a full 360. We do have a bicep swivel, and this may show one of my problems with this figure here. But if we rotate, yeah. But yeah, he does have a bicep swivel here. We'll just hold that in. And then knee, elbow bend there, 90 degrees. Very tight on this side on mine, not so tight on this side on mine. We do have a ball jointed wrist, so you get a nice rotation and a little bit of in and out right there. We have a waist swivel right there. And then we have universal joints for the hips. You can get a nice range of movement there, forward, all the way back, 90 degrees of bend there at the knee. And then, of course, the feet, you do have a rotation due to transformation, as well as ankle tilt, also due to transformation. And so, yeah, the one problem I have here is these little panels that his arms are attached to. They are just tabbed in right here. And these are just friction tabs. They're not like little clipping tabs. So, yeah, they just friction into place. And if your arms are tight enough, you will eventually make that just pop off. Unfortunate, but not terrible. Now, of course, he does still incorporate Sideways' gimmicks of having, the different headmasters as well as switching sides. It's not a spring-loaded gimmick anymore, so you don't have to plug in a head to make this, switch sides. You want him to be a Decepticon, just untab that and rotate it around. And now he is a Decepticon. Now, for the headmaster gimmick, you do have to transform the head away. So I'm just going to take this here. I'll rotate this around because it fits a little bit better in here if you rotate it around. And move up the handlebars like so. Then collapse that head down into the chest right there. Close this back up. And that exposes that little post right there. So you can take your little headmaster guy here and just sort of tilt the arms out here to be his antlers and plug it into that post right there. Oh, and I guess this is technically supposed to be the Autobot head, which I always thought this definitely looked more like the Decepticon head, in my opinion. The red eyes and the mean scowl, but no, that's the Autobot head. Now, unfortunately, because the way they have these transformed now, instead of the antlers being formed out of his legs, they're being formed out of his arms, so they sit like way far down on his cheeks and just kind of look a little weird. It makes this head, which, you know, to be fair, this was the worst looking head out of the group in the original toy as well. But here, yeah, I think it's even worse. And since that is just on a 5mm port, you can, of course, rotate the head, but there is no other articulation outside of swivel when you got them combined like this. And likewise with the little gray Minicon, just sort of pose his legs to be like they kind of were in the show, and then just post that in there, and there you go. Now he is Decepticon sideways. And that one does look a lot better, in my opinion. And for comparison, here is sideways with Hotshot and with Nemesis Prime. But of course, he's a Transformer, so we need to go ahead and transform him. Let's put him into his motorcycle mode, shall we? All right, so best way to do this, because these are on posts and there's not a lot of clearance here and these wheels like to bump into things, these just fall off constantly. So honestly, the best thing to do here would probably be to pull these off and parts form it, but we're going to try not to do that here. You do want to get at least this leg out of the way, so you can rotate this out like so, and rotate this whole piece around, and rotate that up. And we'll go ahead and untab this and rotate it up just like that. Now you can take the arms, and this whole big chunk of piece here that has the missile in it is a opening panel. You just rotate that up, rotate in the hands, and close it back up. Then you can take this panel, detach it from there, rotate it around, and you're going to want to rotate at the bicep here until this piece is sticking on the outside here along with the gold piece. And then you will sandwich the arms together, and I know it's a little hard to see, but there's a little tab right there. It's going to go into a little slot right there, which then forms a tab right here, which is going to go into that little hole right there. Not really a tight tab in there, but it does function. Then we're going to untab the whole chest and head apparatus here and spin it around. Then we'll take the head, rotate this around this way, and then we're going to tab these little teeth right there into that little groove right there. And then this little tab right here is going to go into this slot here in the top of the wheel. Just like so. Then we tuck that head in and rotate the handlebars however you see fit. All right, next for the legs, we'll go ahead and reach here in the foot, on this foot here. You can see there's a little pin right there. There's this little tab that folds out. And on mine, it is very tight. Then you will open up the legs here at this panel right there. And much like, you know, pretty much every Transformer since Combiner Wars, you got this little whole panel right here that's going to extend out and collapse in and then close up the leg and rotate out the foot. Now these feet are going to clip together just like so. And you're going to rotate this around, and you can see right here there's, yeah, I know it's very hard to see because it's black plastic here, but you got a little tab sticking out here and a little tab sticking out here, and you got a mirror on the other side here. Those are going to groove over this little tab right there in the crotch. And then once you have that all together, this should naturally fall in, but there's little tabs here on the back wheel that go into little grooves right there in the legs. They don't really friction tab in. They just sort of sit there. But there you go. There it is. And there is Sideways in his motorcycle mode. And yeah, he looks good. Sideways has always been a very good looking figure, even in the original Armada toy line. Like I said, the Decepticons were really cool. And of course, yeah, he's a lot of chunkier than a motorcycle should be, but they do it in a very smart way to where it looks like it's just junk onto a normal size motorcycle, which I think is kind of a cool way of doing it and kind of helps with the suspension of disbelief. And then, of course, there's really nothing new here that we didn't see in robot mode other than the little gold bits right there. But it does look really, really good. Get a better look at the little teal colored pieces right there. And he does have a molded in kickstand. Now, of course, one of the action features, if you will, of his Minicon partner is that he can ride the motorcycle. Easy ride. And he can grab onto the handlebars just fine. And he can sit on there and he looks pretty good. Just like so. And yeah, that looks really cool. Now, you can take these pieces, and they actually have little posts here on the back and little ports here on the side. So you can actually have these plugged in to be sort of guns. Now, he does have little posts here that kind of make it look like he should be blast effect compatible, but those posts are too big. They're not gonna fit in. So, and of course, he does also have little tiny holes right here on the bottom of the feet there. But again, that nothing's going to fit in there. But hey, it's a thing you can do if you've got enough imagination to say that those look like guns the way they are. You can totally do it. And for comparison, here he is with Armada Hotshot and Armada Nemesis Prime. So yeah, oversized motorcycle and compared to everything else around him. But that's accurate to how he appeared in the show. And so yeah, that's gonna be it for Sideways. Not the most upgrade out of the upgrades that they've done for these Armada figures. I mean, realistically, they took out the gimmicks and added articulation. But honestly, that's kind of all that's really needed for the Decepticons because they were really cool to begin with. But yeah, this is absolutely another banger for the modern Armada remakes, which have been long overdue for the Armada fans, in my opinion. And they have all been bangers. Unlike the Transformers Prime remakes, Armada's been nailing it, I think. So I do highly recommend him. I picked him up at Target, but I know that he's already shipping from places like Hasbro, Pulse, and Big Bad Toy Stores. So, he's out there. I recommend him. He's a lot of fun. So there. That's going to be it for me, guys. Y'all have a good one.